Hello, truth seekers. Lawrence here, and welcome to Easy Enlightenment. So, here's a bitter truth that your ego doesn't want to accept. Your ego doesn't want to accept that everything you're doing right now is coming from the place of fear. You don't want to hear that everything you're doing right now is coming from the place of fear. Your ego won't accept that. Your stubborn ego won't accept that. Definitely some of you are more open to this, and you'll be part of the inquiry to see, is it true? Everything I'm doing right now is coming from the place of fear? Is happening from the place of fear? And if you do part of the inquiry, then there's a chance of realizing every effort is fear-based. And some of you won't be part of the inquiry and just be defensive. This is bullshit. Some of you say, this is bullshit. Who is this guy talking about my life, pointing at me and telling me that everything I'm doing right now is fear-based, is coming from the place of fear? And this message will completely ignored. If you are open and just ask yourself, is it true? What I do, is that coming from the place of fear? So here's the question you can ask yourself. Why do I do what I do? Definitely, you have picked up something in your life that is supporting your life, that is paying your bill, isn't it? Paying your bills. Something that you identify with is providing stability, providing fun, providing the identification that you are somebody now. Yes, there is a positive outcome from being part of certain identification. It makes you stand on your own feet, and being part of that, you understand the deeper layer, deeper pattern of that particular craft or art. And the functioning world, the relative world, outside world, is about that. You recognize something that you like, you identify yourself with that, and you be aware in that field, and the growth is naturally going to take place. That's outer world, survival world. Now, even the positive benefits are there for being part of the world. Don't stop there. If you're really seeking freedom from your fear, if you're seeking freedom from the mind, if you're seeking spiritual freedom, then you have to question yourself. Every layers must be investigated to figure out the root cause of our alignment outside. We have to question everything. We have to question all the things that we love, and also question our fear. The duality of life has to be questioned. The things you like, you gotta question why you like. The things that you hate, you gotta question. Questioning is the only way to, understand the nature of the mind, to understand how the mind becomes the reality. Questioning is the way to trace the mind backward. And when we're tracing the mind backward, we know how the patterns of the mind are linking together to become the reality in us. If you don't trace it back, then life is happening, and then we only stay on the surface of stuff. We won't know how the pain, how the suffering is continuing in life, how the life is a never-ending, struggle. We won't figure that out. The momentum of life makes you go forward only. And life is about that, but that momentum is, coming from the place of struggle. So, not to struggle, we really have to question. I am saying that every action that you put out in the world is coming from the place of fear. Even the kindness and compassion, your generosity, is coming from the place of fear. Especially when you are being part of the work that is about love, kindness, compassion, generosity, that kind of work is very hard to see that is ego-based work, ego-based action, fear-based action. So you ask yourself, if you are being part of the, love movement, the kindness and compassion movement, you ask yourself, why I'm being compassionate? Why I'm being kind? Why am I being generous? Definitely, these are the qualities that makes the world a better place. The world become more harmonious, more peaceful from the act of love, act of kindness. That makes the world a better place. The spiritual journey, the first step of the spiritual journey is about understanding yourself thoroughly, understanding your mind thoroughly, and also seeing the truth of who you are. Then once you see who you are truly without the mind, then you can truly be compassionate, truly be, a loving person. You can truly understand how the world needs more of what you do. But without seeing the truth of who you are, the act of kindness, compassion, generosity, love is the act of fear. Act of fear to not to have a fearful world, isn't it? So again, if you don't see what I'm saying, you question yourself. Ask your action. Ask yourself, why do I do what I do? Simple. Sit with this question and allow this question to take you deeper, to trace the mind backward. Every answer you see from questioning yourself, you have to question the answer. Why is that important? This is the simple way to trace it back. Every answer you see, why do I have it? Why do I associate it with? Why is that important? Just simple why. The why is going to lead you to see the root cause of our surface actions, the root cause of our surface struggle. And to see the truth of who you are, the root has to be eliminated. Even the root is a positive root that is, that is making you to be part of the world. The positive root has to, go as well. So you have to drop it. And this is where you won't be able to do it in the beginning, because your whole life is conditioned with that root, and every action you are putting out in the world is making that root stronger and stronger. So the root is so seeped in you that you will have a hard time to let go. And that is the sign of attachment. The enlightenment journey, spiritual journey, the freedom from the mind is about detaching ourselves from the surface and the root. And at the root, you're not able to let go. When you realize that freedom is about letting go, and you're holding onto the root, and there's a dilemma, there's a contradiction. Your whole life is based on the root. Now, somehow you're interested in spirituality. Spirituality is asking you to let go. Now there's a fight. And some of you will definitely start to let go the things that you have outgrown. The things that are easy to let go doesn't even create a dent in the spiritual journey. Your ego self is actually loving the practice of letting go. The ego self is doing the letting go. The ego self is doing the spiritual work. And only, creates that illusion that you're doing the work of letting go. You have to let go the things that you're heavily attached, the things that are hard to let go. Those are the stuff that you need to investigate. Now, definitely there are things that are very hard to let go. And when you understand it's about letting go, you see the fight. Now, when you see the fear of letting go, you ask yourself, why do I have the fear? So we started tracing back the mind. We see the ingrained conditioning, the root belief in us. And then now we are seeing the fear of letting go of our identification. Now the real journey begins if you question yourself. Question yourself, why am I afraid of letting go? Then if you are here and work on your fear, why am I afraid? Then you can able to trace your fear backward, and you start to see the layers of fear. Ultimately, you'll come to the point that fear of death. Fear of death means the end of the experience, end of the fun, end of your positive good work. Your ego wants to do the good work, and your ego doesn't like to end your positive work, which aligns with the compassion and kindness. So when you trace your mind backward, when you trace your fear backward, then you realize the fear of being nobody, fear of death. And because of the fear of death, there's a control, there's a resistance, there's a running away from this, the conflict. and we really have to investigate on those things. Every day we are fighting. Every day there's a conflict. Investigating on the day-to-day conflict helps us to create a good foundation, to understand the nature of the mind. If we step back and investigate, that would be a good start. So again, I started the video that your ego doesn't want to hear that everything you're doing right now is fear-based. So, is it true? Everything I'm doing right now is coming from a place of fear. Take a look at it. Investigate your mind today. Another way to ask yourself your question is, why do I do what I do? Just stay with the question. Whatever answer comes in, you trace your answer back by questioning, staying with the why. Every answer that you see, you ask why is that important, and this will help you to trace the mind backward to the root and to see the fear. So see how far you can go in tracing the mind backward. And it's not a one-time thing. This process is about staying in the journey, doing every day. So you know, doing every day this work, whatever is, whatever amount of time you can do it, you do it, and this will help you to create a good foundation. And this practice, eventually inspire you to stay in, to do the math, the equation of the mind. And the journey to wake up from the falls, to enlighten yourself, is about being thorough of your mind, how the mind comes into existence, and how the mind takes the driver's seat, and how that becomes the ego self. And when you're so thorough, when you are thorough in this journey, the thoroughness is a true preparation to see true from the false. You will, when you are so thorough, when you ask yourself, who am I? That's where it's going to happen. That's where you're going to catch yourself. And when you catch yourself, your ego, that's where the ego drops. Ego dropping means the fear dissolving in you. So this process won't take that long, guys, okay? This is a simple, straightforward process. And the spiritual journey is simple, straightforward. If your journey is right now imaginative, confusion, then reflect. You can even question yourself on the things that you do. Whatever spiritual work you're doing, you ask yourself, why do you do what you do? In not just the relative sense, you can also ask your spiritual effort, why do you do it? Why do you do what you do? So if you really want to dissolve your fear in life, to live a fearless life, you must investigate your mind. You must do the math. Okay, I hope this video makes sense, and I hope you're enjoying your backward movement. I know it's not enjoyable because you are facing your fear and working on dissolving the fear. That's where you start to feel the friction more. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. By the way, my book is available now on Amazon. It's called Unbecoming. A friend of mine helped me to organize the stuff, for me. This book is all about undoing the fear, undoing the mind, to reclaim who you are, your true self. So Spirituality is about reclaiming who you are, taking the seat of the consciousness, and allowing the life to flow. So you can get a copy if you're interested. Again, it's called Unbecoming. Okay, available on Amazon. Okay, anyway, that's all in this video. Take care for now. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.